Hi everyone, there's something I want to talk about, and that something is one of the few things in this world that actually makes me happy and gives me hope for the future. And that thing is the fact that everything, nearly everything that was once considered nerdy or geeky or whatever, is now mainstream and acceptable. Now, younger people, younger kids, this doesn't mean much because they grew up with this. But for someone like, like I'm a 90s kid, anyone who's a 90s kid or older knows that being into this stuff was one of the most persecutable things socially, like ever, for the longest fucking time. Whether it be video games, superheroes, geeky, nerdy, whatever, movies and TV shows. The fact that us geeks really don't have to be in the closet about it anymore is, I think, very, very important. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about video games. Now, today, video games are a thing. Well, they've always been a thing, but you know what I mean. They're popular. They're in the pop culture. You can't go to someone's house without them owning either a PS3 or a 360. Well, now it's PS4 and Xbox One, but you know what I fucking mean. And it's so in our culture now. Like, you got the Spike Video Game Awards and other video game award shows. And don't get me wrong, like the Spike ones, and most of them are complete corporate bullshit. You know, they favorite Call of Duty and whatever. But that's not the point. The point is that there is an award show for video games, and it's on TV. Okay? If you were to tell me exactly that 10 years ago or so, I would have called complete bullshit. Alright? Growing up, going through school, middle school specifically, I remember it was such taboo to even like video games. Okay? And my schools were always really homophobic, so it was always gay, 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 fag, 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 if you fucking played any game. Didn't matter what it was. Gaming wasn't cool. Gaming was so far from cool, it was ridiculous. And this wasn't even that long ago. I'm talking like the early 2000s. Not even like, 20 years ago or whatever. I'm not that old. Like, for instance, I remember when I was in 7th, maybe 8th grade, the game Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga had just came out. Amazing fucking game for anyone who's played it on Game Boy Advance. And needless to say, I got addicted to it. And I had just bought a new Game Boy Advance SP around the same time, because they had just come out. So, I would come to school playing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on my SP, and holy shit, would I just take torment for it. It was just, you're a fucking faggot, Mario's for homos and little kids, blah blah blah, just made fun of constantly for it. And another thing, when we were first getting into girls around 6th grade or whatever, don't mention video games. That was one of the main rules. If you're trying to pick up girls, don't mention video games. If they even knew, they would make fun of you. For real. Dude, I've had plenty of girls tell me that I was a complete fucking loser for playing Sonic the Hedgehog games and Mario games. Oh, that shit's acceptable now, but no. These stupid stuck-up bitches, it just wasn't cool. And it's complete hypocrisy, by the way, because these were the same fucking girls who, for the most part, like, grew up into gamer girls. You know the ones. Pictures on their Facebook, like. As for superheroes, I think Kevin Smith talked about this, that being into superhero comic books was one of the most unacceptable fucking things ever. It was like, if you read superhero comics, you were a virgin. You lived in your parents' basement. That is a fact. But now we have all these big blockbusters, superhero movies, mostly thanks to Christopher Nolan and his flawless Dark Knight trilogy and also his Man of Steel Superman movie. Well, that and the near-perfect Marvel movies. I mean, shit, dude, the Avengers, that annihilated the box office, man. That was awesome. I mean, even when I was growing up, I lived through the 90s, and really the only superhero it was acceptable to like was Batman. And anyone who lives through the 90s knows that this was mostly because of the Batman movies, which, although they might have been extremely cheesy, we still had Batman movies out the ass in the 90s. Now, these are my Pokemon cards. I have all the original 151, plus some, even some Digimon cards in here. I even have the ever-so-elusive holographic Charizard. Now, for the longest time, I'd say, maybe about 7 years, this binder was tucked away under my bed like it was fucking contraband. And this was mostly because of the extreme social stigma that I had to put up with for the longest time for even being into Pokemon. And look at how popular it is now. It's as popular now as it ever was, maybe even more so. In fact, I got kind of a sad story. You see this N64 sitting right here? Well, I used to have the Pikachu edition N64, the super rare one that came with Hey You Pikachu and the microphones you could talk to his stupid ass. And I traded it in. I traded it into a GameStop for a regular plain N64 one day. And I'll tell you why. Because whenever people would come over my house and they'd see the Pikachu N64, I wouldn't hear the fucking end of it. It was so uncool to be into Pokemon. They were calling me just all sorts of names, and it wasn't even really peer pressure, because they weren't really telling me to get rid of it, but I got made fun of so fucking hard for even possibly liking Pokemon that I traded in my Pikachu N64. That's how bad it used to be, people. You know, I kind of wish I was born later, because then perhaps just being into the things I was into, maybe I wouldn't have had to put up with so much social stigma. Man, I probably would have been bullied a good probably 40% less. That would have been nice. Well, whatever. I'd like to thank you, general population, for being nerdy as fuck.